right, so on these questions, we are essentially using the quadratic formula. And to remind ourselves, the quadratic formula is going to be x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of, I like to put d underneath the radical, and then 2a. Now let's talk about what the d means. The d means what we call the discriminant, and that is the value of b squared minus 4 times a times c. So this whole thing is underneath the radical. I like to tell my students to always deal with the discriminant first, that's going to make your life a lot easier. So we're going to go ahead and find and look for the discriminant first. So I need to identify all of those values. We need to identify our a value, where a value is net in front of
Solve
the
the quadratic
um,
equation.
x squared. The b value is in front of the x, and the c value is at the end. So our a is negative 3, our b is going to be 9, and our c is going to be negative 1. So now I'm going to go ahead and fill out my discriminant. So that's going to be 9 squared minus 4 times our a value, which is negative 3, times our c value, which is negative 1. And we can just put this whole thing in Desmos. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here to Desmos. And I'm going to put 9 squared. It's not a bad habit to go ahead and put the b in parentheses, and then we can do minus 4. That's always going to be there. And then we're going to put our a. Our a was negative 3. Make sure you keep the sign with it. And our c is negative 1. So make sure that you keep all of those signs with that value, and it is 69. So the discriminant is going to be equal to 69. Now, I may or may not be able to simplify that. Remember, this number is going to be underneath the radical, so we're taking the square root of 69. We want to look for the exact solution in each box, so that means that we want to leave it in what we like to call the radical form. So I'm going to see if there's a perfect square that goes into 69. To remind you, to find a perfect square, we can do 69 divided by x. We're technically, when we're doing this, we're looking for all of the factors of 69, but I'm specifically looking for a perfect square factor. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, and I'm looking specifically at my y values. So far, I have not seen a perfect square. If I get down to 4, we definitely know that that is not going to be, we've passed the value that would be 4. 4.05, and then we go to 3.8. So there is no perfect square that goes into 69. So that means that we're going to leave that as the square root of 69. So now let's go ahead and fill out our formula. So our b value is 9. So that's going to be negative 9 because that's negative b, plus or minus the square root of 69 all over 2 times our a. So 2 times negative 3. So 2 times negative 3 is going to become negative 6. So that becomes negative 6. Now let's talk about putting this in our sheet. So that's going to be fraction. Negative 9 divided by negative 6. 9, let's go ahead and talk about simplifying. 9 divided by 6. We're going to simplify that. That becomes as a fraction. Oops. There we go. 3 halves. So I'm going to put 3 over 2. And then remember, we have the plus or the minus. So I'm going to put plus. You can put minus 2. Then I'm going to put the parentheses because we've got the square root of 69 over square root of 69 over that bottom number, negative 6. Again, we can go ahead and just say positive 6 because technically that negative is going to be canceled out anyways. Negative, you're still going to have the negative and the positive. Now, the easy thing I can do here is I can go ahead and select that whole, let me go ahead and get rid of the, there we go. Okay, take that off. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to hit Control C. And then I'm going to come over here to my second answer because they want the positive and the negative. And I'm going to go to that middle sign, and I'm going to change that to minus. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. All right, now let's do another one. This one's really basic and simple and easy because our A value is 1. So I'm going to go ahead and go through, and we know that our A is equal to 1. And let me write it up here, just so that we have room. Okay, so our A is 1, our B is -3, and our C is -13. So using the discriminant first, that's going to be -3 squared minus 4 times 1 times -13. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before. I'm going to come up here to my formula. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the B. We said our B is -3. So I'm going to put -3 here. And we said our A value is 1, so I'm going to put 1. And our C value is -13. And so that gives me 61. So that's equal to 61. Again, let's check to see if there's a perfect square. I'm going to tell you probably not. Typically, the numbers ending in 1 are not going to have a perfect square, but just to be on the safe side, let's go ahead and check. In fact, typically the numbers ending on 1 are going to have very limited factors. Nope, there is no perfect square that goes into that number. Try one more. Yep. Okay, so 61 is what it is. So now let's go ahead. This is going to be x equals. Now, since our b is negative, we're going to change that to +3. Plus or minus the square root of 61 all over 2 times 1 is 2. So this one's a little bit easier just because it stays. Let me turn off the pencil. So this is going to be 3/2. And then that's going to be plus. And then fraction, square root. It should allow you to do this. Let's see. So it should allow you to do 3 plus the square root of 61 over 2 instead of breaking it out. Should let you do this. Let's see. Oops, hold on. Control C. Control V. Let's see. I'm going to take that out as a minus. If it counts it wrong, it probably wants it broken out. But let's see. Nope, it took it. All right, so that's pretty much all you're doing. Do be aware that some of these you're going to have to simplify that radical number. Let me go up a level. Let's see. Level 3. So this one here, and the only difference on these is that you have to make sure that you move that 2 over and rewrite it when you identify. So this is going to be x squared plus 7x minus 2 equals 0. So our A term is 1, B is 7, and our C is -2. So again, we're going to find our discriminant first. So 7 squared
Right,
minus 4 times 1 times
right one
-2. 7 squared is 49. That's going to give me +8. 4 negative times negative is a positive. 4 times 2 is 8. That is going to give me 50. Let's see. 49 plus 8 is 57. Let's see if that has a perfect square. I don't think it does, but just to be on the safe side, let's verify. Nope, it does not. So our answer is going to be x is equal to -7 plus or minus the square root of 57 all over 2 times 1, which is 2. So again, in this case, when you put it in here, because this is minus, we can go ahead and keep the fraction. Do -7 and then plus the square root of 57 and then over 2. You can still, again, of course, split it up. So that would be -7 over 2 and then minus square root of 57 over 2. Do realize that you do have to simplify, okay? So sometimes you might have done everything right, but you didn't simplify, so it would count it wrong. Okay? All right. Hopefully that helps you get this assignment done. See you next time.